Karen calls. That's what they're called now. Karen
Right.
calls. All right. So when Karen calls are made, is it only white officers that go to respond to those Karen calls? Let me share with you what officers have said to me, what officers of color have shared with me. I don't have to listen to you, N-word officer. Oh, you don't? I don't have to listen to you, N-word officer. Or those same people that call 911 saying there's a black guy or a brown guy on my street, when officers of color show up to that caller will call 911 back and say, send me out a white officer. You ain't never heard of that, have you? I had never heard of that either until officers have told me just what they have to deal with when it comes to race and people in certain neighborhoods not being comfortable with Officer Wu showing up to their door.
So does that ever change though? Like
it changes when they get used to Officer Wu showing up to their door.
But that 50-year-old, 60-year-old Karen has 50, 60 years of thought process.
True. But here's the thing. You know what officers have told me? If you are specifying the race of a cop that you need, then you don't really need a cop right now. And it's really the experiences that I've received listening to the BS that cops have to deal with sometimes is unbelievable to me. And so it really comes back to the more time we spend apart, the more problems we're going to continue to have. If we can't integrate freely our officers in this neighborhood and that neighborhood, because listen, Tian has been on the calls, Mark has been on the calls, and we've had young black males say, maybe it's best if we just have black officers patrolling our neighborhoods. First of all, that's unrealistic. There's not enough black officers to do that. Second of all, you're not solving any problem of exposure and education by segregating the officers to certain neighborhoods. That's not solving any problems. It might solve some problems, but ultimately, as a society, if we stay apart, we're going to continue to have the same old problems that we've had. I see a lot of officers nodding their heads. I'm not saying anything new to them, but I wanted to educate you to show you that there's a different side to that. And I hope that makes more sense to you, because I wasn't surprised when officers told me the racism that they have experienced while in uniform. What blew me away was the racism was so deep is that they would call 911 back and say, I don't want this black officer here. Send me a white officer. And that was crazy to me. But that's what they have to deal with.